so something I can do before the suspension gets here is the chain tensioner. The original chain tensioner was a bolt that went through here and pushed back on this, push the wheel back. I don't really like that idea because it's so chintzy and tiny. And I haven't got any chain tensioners here yet. It'll take a long time because they all seem to come from China. So my idea is to put a washer of the proper size on here, up against here, to push the wheel back. Let's see if I can find one. Washers that would work. So what I actually ended up doing was cutting out a piece of metal, drilling a hole in it, and putting it under here, and pushing on here with a notch in it, of course, so it'll stay in place. And that seems to work pretty well. I just need to make one for the other side over here. To do is make a little chain guide right here that'll hold the chain up just a little more, because it's still got a bit of extra slack to it. Not bad though. And I can bolt it on right here and here. Of course, those are the original bolt-on positions for the chain guide, or guard I mean, the chain guard. They'll go there, but I can't fit this there because, as you can see, the original wheel rubbed on it a lot back in the day. And this wheel, being an extra wide dirt tire, would rub on it to no end. So I can't put this back on for now, which is fine, but I would like to make a little chain guide to go there. What's this? Parts arrived. And my knife is very dull. Let's see, what's the best way to open this puppy? Stab it with my flat-ended knife. Aha! My exhaust is here. Boy, that's pretty beat up. Fortunately, all I need is this part, right here. I've got the rest. Right here. And so since this is a lot less beat up than the other one, and it has an end cap. I'm going to use this one instead of this one that I got. And my other clamp is missing the bolt, so I'm just going to use this clamp that I got in the package. And obviously, this is the whole reason I bought it. I had to hacksaw this off because I couldn't get the exhaust nut off the engine. But this comes with the end of the exhaust and the nut and everything. So let's see about getting this exhaust put together. But first I'm going to clean it up a little bit. Got my big manly wire brush. And I'm going to try to clean this out. It's not making that big of a difference, of course, having that in there, because the exhaust holes are pretty much the same size they always were. But I've known of instances where people have actually had those exhaust holes filled up with all this carbon crap, and it's actually made their engine either not run or just run really badly. I can see, though, why these mopeds have a reputation for being so darn quiet. Look at those teeny tiny little holes. Just chokes off almost as much as the muffler on a motorized bicycle. But those mufflers are a little more performance killing, I would say. That's a little better. But because I couldn't really get in there, I'm going to have to use something else. I'm going to try this steel wool here. See if I can't make any headway with that. Best part about this exhaust is it actually came off of a Wards Riverside moped. Later on they dropped the name Wards Riverside and just called them their mopeds Motobacane, or Motobacane, or however you pronounce it. But before, they were called Wards Riverside. Mine is an old Wards Riverside. Wards Riverside Motobacane. Let's see, so crappy in there. I don't even know if this will thread in. Or if I'm using the wrong side. Which I was. Threading in. It's not the easiest thing I've ever done before, but threading in. There we go. I had to clean some carbon crap out of those threads. That was bad. Now it's in there. Pretty tight. This may still look black on camera, but I can tell I've definitely got rid of a lot of the chunky, scratchy stuff, which is what I was trying to do. Now let's see if this will go in there. This thing is dented pretty bad. I don't know. I may need to bend it back to more of an original shape. No, I think it's starting to go in. Sort of. Not really, though. Okay, I'm going to have to do a little bit of work on this thing. Boy, is this exhaust ever beat up. Well, that's going to be stopping it from going on. Let's see if I can get rid of that little nub there. There. There we go. I think I got the cap on. I'm going to have to do a little work on this too. Here, at least that's a functional exhaust anyway. Okay. Interesting, it seems to tighten up right there with the threads not all the way inside. And that might be because this old exhaust from a Wards Riverside doesn't quite fit on this motovacane cylinder. So I may have to do some gasketing in between there or something, a metal gasket to use up the rest of the room. But it's a lot quieter now, at least turning it over by hand. Gotta tighten the exhaust clamp though. System. Anyway, it's beautiful to me. I've been looking at this thing without exhaust for a long time, and it's still got styrofoam chunks in the engine. You can tell I haven't run it yet, or those would be melted away. Here is get this seat taken off so that I can take the seat cover off so that I can put another piece of foam under here because it's not quite tall enough. It's just a bit too short. More too. You'll notice when it's set on here, it's sort of a terraced design. I'm also going to be rounding these corners off, but first I need some double back carpet tape to stick each layer together. And there we have it. Rounded off on the edge, nice and smooth. Now I just got to recover it. Hopefully I can just still use this original cover. Gonna be close. No, it looks like the cover's too small. Well, that's good for you guys. Now I get to show you how to cover a seat. Disappointing news. Having problems with my sprocket and my chain. See, I was turning the wheel just because I could, and I was waiting for parts. I was just spinning the wheel over for fun, and then I noticed that the chain was tightening up once the wheel turned to a certain position. So, I did a lot of investigating on that. Couldn't figure anything out wrong with the chain. Couldn't figure out what was going on, why I was having the wrong size chain. I spent hours trying to figure out the exact measurement system for chains and how the logic works there. Once I finally figured it out, I figured out what's going on. Well, this is not the original chain, actually, I was using. Here. This more rusty chain here was almost working, but it would tighten up once it got to a certain spot. So I decided, just to see if I could figure out what was going on, I replaced it with this other chain of the same size that I hadn't really used for anything yet. It didn't work at all. It wouldn't even go all the way around the sprocket. The sprocket would come out of the chain at a certain point. So what I figured out is this chain is unstretched because it's unused. Once you use a chain a little while, it breaks in and stretches. This chain I used heavily on my motorized bicycle, so it was stretched a lot. That is why it almost fit on this sprocket when it's the improper size of chain. It's too small, yet it was stretched out, so it almost fit. But there was one spot, I guess, on the chain that wasn't stretched out yet, so it didn't fit. So, I'm hoping I found the right size chain for this, and I'm going to order that. So for now, we probably won't be able to get a video of starting this up, also because the drive belt that I ordered, which is necessary for kick-starting the engine over, the drive belt I ordered is also the wrong size, because this is an older version of moped, and I think they had a bigger pulley here, so the drive belt's too small. Fortunately, I've also found what I think will be the right size drive belt. I just have to wait and see how I can acquire it. But for now, there's also some other parts I've ordered, so I can put those on, but I don't think I'll be able to start it in this video. Nice naga hide here. Now it's time to cover my seat. Obviously, I've cut out an oversized piece, and I'm going to be snipping it off where I know it can be snipped off. There are two options here, really. Either you're going to see what I'm doing and you're going to say, well, that's stupid, or you're going to say, maybe I should try that on mine. There. Well, I must say, it's substantially more wrinkly than the first one was. But homemade seat covers are bound to be a bit wrinkly, so that's alright. As long as it's comfy and it doesn't look too terrible, I like it. Okay, got that on there. I got my shocks. I've got my coil. And the little jets for my carburetor. So let's start putting some of this stuff on there. There. I'll definitely be cutting this bolt off though, because I don't want anything in the way if I fall off. I don't want to get my leg cut or something. But for now, shocks are on. Next, the coil. Which, in case you're interested in seeing it, this is the original coil. Probably the original one it came from the factory with in 1958. Okay, that's more solid. Now, before, my carburetor was being really rich. Oh, I tightened it up, didn't I? So what I need to do now is wean it off quite a bit. So I'm going to put in the smallest of all the jets. Somehow I got the distinct feeling it would be smarter to do this on a desk. In fact, on a nice clean plastic pad. If there's one thing in this entire world that's an enemy to moped carburetors, and every carburetor, it's dirt. Dirt, debris, and all forms of gunk. Okay, let's see if I can get this out of here. Like this. You may need... Okay, I got it. Never mind. Here. Now this jet isn't actually marked, this original one. Unless I haven't seen it before and it is. I don't think so. So, since it's not marked, I'm just going to go with the smallest one. And hope for the best. Hope that the smallest one isn't as big as that one. Okay then, this should be the smallest one. Jet, I might just replace the whole carburetor because this is a really cheap carburetor. I could get a much better one for very little price also. But the thing is, I had this one, so I thought, why not use it? For now, at least. I don't think it'll satisfy me, though. As soon as I get my moped running, I'll want it to go fast and be powerful. As powerful as a moped can be, that is. Okay. Keep the rest of the jets, of course, just in case. Now, back on the moped. First, of course, I'm going to have to put the throttle back in. Let's see here. Now, I'm never going to forget this, but you always have to remember to keep this right side lined up with the right side. There's a tiny pin in there. Don't know how well you can see it, but there's a tiny pin in there that slides up and down in this slot. And this, on the other side, is for adjusting the idle with this screw. I've taken so many of these slide carburetors apart, I'm never going to forget that, but just in case you haven't, remember it, and it will save you headache. After all, what's going to happen if you can't get your slide all the way down to the bottom of your carburetor and you put it back together anyway? Bad things will happen. That's what. I try to give you that first start in this video. Well, I can't. If you are familiar with mopeds, you'll know what this is. Condenser. My condenser has pooped out on me. I had no spark when I was trying to start it there. I couldn't find the spark for a long time. I actually spent about 2 days researching the problem and searching until I finally decided to just take out the stupid condenser. So, I suppose I'm going to end the episode here and start the next one when I get the next condenser in the mail. There's a lot of footage and good stuff in this episode anyway. But maybe, at least my moped's pedalable right now. I could show you a little video of me pedaling it around, if you're interested. Oh, you're not? Well, that's too bad. I'm going to show you it anyway, so there.